Imagine you are a German scout in the autumn of 1944. You are shivering in a shallow foxhole on the edge of a French forest, peering through high-powered binoculars at a valley 3 miles away. Your breath hitches, your blood runs cold. You count them, 10, 50, 80 Sherman tanks. You can hear the low, rhythmic thrum of their engines vibrating in the very earth beneath your chest. You see the crews smoking, the grease on their uniforms, the laundry hanging off the radio antennas. You report to high command with a trembling hand. The Americans are here in force. God help us. But imagine that same field. Just 1 hour later, a lone American soldier walks up to one of those 30-ton Shermans. He doesn't use a jack. He doesn't use a crane. He simply reaches under the massive steel hull, lifts the entire machine over his head with one hand, and carries it 20 feet to the left. He isn't a superhero. He's an art student from Philadelphia. And that tank? It's made of nothing but inflatable rubber and pressurized air. This was the 23rd Headquarters Special Troops, better known to history as the Ghost Army. The U.S. Army didn't look for these men at shooting ranges or boot camps. They recruited them from the prestigious halls of art schools and design studios. They wanted painters, set designers, architects, and illustrators, men who had spent their lives studying the psychology of perception. Men who knew how to trick the human eye using nothing but light and shadow. Among them were future icons like fashion titan Bill Blass and minimalist painter Ellsworth Kelly. But in 1944, their canvas was the mud of Europe, and their medium was the most dangerous art form on earth, the art of the lie. They had 4 weapons in their arsenal, and not one of them fired a single bullet. First, there was the visual deception. They deployed what they called pneumatic dummies, inflatable tanks, jeeps, and airplanes that could be birthed from a wooden crate and fully inflated in 20 minutes. But these artists knew that a balloon wasn't enough to fool a battle-hardened veteran. They understood that for a lie to be believed, it had to be dirty. They used bulldozers to carve deep, heavy tank ruts into the mud, leading up to the rubber decoys, ensuring that German aerial reconnaissance would see the weight of the vehicles in the soil. They painted fake oil leaks on the grass. They scattered empty, rusted ration cans around the campsites. They even created fake laundry lines. They were creating a stage play where the stakes were life and death. Then there was the sound. The Army worked with engineers from Bell Labs to record the Symphony of War onto massive magnetic wire recorders. They had soundtracks for every movement, the high-pitched whine of a jeep, the heavy rhythmic clanking of a tank tread, even the distant, frantic shouting of men in a mess hall. They mounted 500-pound speakers onto armored cars and, in the dead of night, projected the sound of a massive, moving army up to 15 miles away. To a lonely German sentry across the river, it didn't just sound like tanks. It sounded like time's doom, times itself. The low-frequency rumble was so hauntingly real, it actually shook the windows of nearby farmhouses. These men were literally weaponizing the air. While the speakers roared, the radio operators were spoofing. In the world of telegraphy, every operator has a unique fist, a specific, recognizable rhythm of tapping out Morse code. The Ghost Army operators meticulously studied and mimicked the fists of real Allied units. They sent out a constant stream of fake messages about fuel shortages, food requisitions, and troop movements, knowing the Nazi intelligence officers were intercepting every single word, charting a phantom invasion on their maps. Finally, there was the atmosphere. This was the most human part of the deception. Soldiers would put on fake unit patches of elite divisions and go into local cafes in liberated towns. They would sit near known spies and accidentally let slip fake information about where they were heading next. They were living, breathing actors in a play where the stage was the front line and the price of a missed cue was a massacre. Their masterpiece was Operation Viersen. In March 1945, the Allies needed to cross the Rhine River, the final Great Wall into Nazi Germany. The Ghost Army was ordered to conjure a phantom force of 30,000 men 10 miles away from the real crossing point. For 3 days and nights, the artists performed. They inflated hundreds of tanks. They blasted the sounds of bridge building over their massive speakers. They polluted the airwaves with fake radio chatter. The German high command bit. They moved their elite artillery and panzer divisions to Viersen to crush a ghost army. Meanwhile, 10 miles away, the real Ninth Army crossed the Rhine with almost no resistance. Those balloons, those speakers, and